What's going on, Pokemon Go trainers? Welcome to episode 102 of Lured Up, a podcast where we take Pokemon Go way more seriously than we do ourselves. Lured Up is part of the Pokemon Professor Network. Today is Sunday, October 27th, 2019. I'm your host, Ken Pescatore, joined by my co-hosts, Adam Tuttle and Melissa Pescatore. Hello, friends.
What's going on?
How are you?
What up?
Hello.
What up?
Hi, how are you? How is everybody today? It's a weird, cold, wet, hot
It's been raining
day.
all day long. All day long.
But it was freezing this morning, and then it got warm. Like the weather's
It got super fucking warm. It's weird.
like humid, nasty. Like Jersey's been nasty today. But
it was gross out.
We're not alone, guys. We have a guest.
Who?
We are joined by Billy. The Trainer Club is here. How are you, man?
Hey, I'm doing great, man. What's going on?
Oh, I'm psyched to have you on, dude. You've been a very requested guest from our community. And, ever since I had you on the round table a couple months back, I was like, this dude, I got to get this guy on the show.
Yeah, I just wanted to be like, here we go. No, sorry.
I was like, maybe I should do that to start off.
You should. Well, when Ken gets through the rigmarole.
Yes. All right. Well, let me get through the rigmarole here. Like Adam was saying, a little housekeeping really quick. This podcast is powered by Patreon. Please check ours out over at patreon.com/Pokemon Professor, where you can support this show for as little as $1 a month. And that $1 will get you access to our patron exclusive Discord, which is a fantastic place filled with fantastic people.
It sure is.
And if Patreon isn't your thing, there's a few other ways you can help us out. If you're listening on YouTube, you can subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications. If you're listening via a podcast service like Apple Podcasts or Stitcher, you can take a moment to leave us a review. 5 stars are the best stars. Okay, today's show, we've got a lot going on. There's been a lot. But first, we're going to get to know Billy from the Trainer Club. We have GoHub mining the 0.159.0 APK, and it is very spicy, to quote Zoe Two Dots. The Go Battle League has been announced for 2020. This is freaking massive. Well, I don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves because we have very little info, but we could definitely put on some tinfoil hats and get excited and amped up about that. We had an interesting community note from the Niantic blog. We'll review what's going on there, and we've had multiple Willow reports already, and I'm sure, in typical Niantic style, we record this on Sunday night. Monday night is usually the news bomb lately for Niantic, so I'm sure there'll be another Willow report coming tomorrow, but we'll catch up with where we are as of the time of this recording. And then we'll follow up with a Battle Party and Ray Guide Reggie edition, where we'll talk about the 3 Reggies, and maybe next week or something we'll do Regigigas or something like that. But we'll get through all that stuff in a minute. But first, I want to introduce Billy. I want to learn about the Trainer Club. How are you, man? Introduce yourself. Let us know where you're from, what you're all about, what your channel's all about. Go for it.
Hey, what's going on, man? I'm super excited to be here. Like I said, before we did the video call, that was a lot of fun, and I appreciate you guys reaching back out to me. So I'm Billy Lutz. I have a YouTube channel called The Trainer Club, and I was raised in Naperville, Illinois, basically. So born in New Jersey, raised in Naperville, and what I do is I do YouTube. So fortunately, I've got to a place where I can put my full time and attention into YouTube. As most people know that follow my channel, I put out quite a lot of videos. So that's basically where I'm at. As far as my team, I rock for Team Instinct, and for no other reason than when I started the game, all my friends were Instinct. So that's kind of how it fell down. We all wanted to be together and train together, and I'm probably the only one still playing as of right now. And truth be told, blue's my favorite color, but I don't really have a desire to switch it. I feel like once you're on a team, it's just your team, and I have respect for all the teams. So I'm not like a gung-hoer, and in my videos, you won't see me overly promoting my team because that's not what I'm about when we're doing our YouTube videos. We're a collective group of trainers working to be the best that we can be. So,
dude, yeah. It's like the positivity is already starting, and it's like that's one of the things that I really dig about your channel. That we'll get into it when we talk about your content. But it's interesting that you say your favorite color is blue, because interviewing all these trainers and all these different creators, tons and tons and tons of people, I am incredibly surprised by how many people pick their teams based on their favorite color. It's like a lot of people I like red or I like blue, and
that's how I pick mine.
Yeah,
that's how I pick mine.
You got to remember, in the beginning there was no team leaders, so we literally, besides the birds, you know what I mean, we really didn't have much to go off of, and the birds weren't even necessarily pushed forward as the reason, you know what I mean? It was just kind of like, it really was the color. So that's really interesting to see. But yeah, we bust Adam's chops all the time because he's on Instinct. Melissa's a Mystic.
Listen, my local community, they bust my chops all the time because it's literally just me.
You're the only one?
Well, there's two of us basically, and then Chanel switched over when just one day during like the Christmas Delibird event, she surprised me and just dropped a Pokemon in the gym after I took it. And I was like, whoa.
You need more people in your ranks. It's funny because it's like in my area, we've got a huge group, but a very small penetration giggity of Instinct. So it's like whenever we're trying to break up a raid into multiple lobbies, it's like Instinct always has to like tag along. they can't hang on their own.
That's where the best friend bonus comes into play, man.
Exactly.
It's been such a blessing. But actually, like because I was living in Atlanta for 5 years or so, there's actually a really big population of Instinct players. And majority of the time when we would go and play hardcore, like if you weren't Instinct, it was like not the place to be because you weren't getting any raid balls before like all the best friends and stuff came out.
Yeah. It's like you take for granted all those different bonuses, especially when it comes down to like when you're short manning or you have less people than other groups. It's you got to take advantage of all that stuff, and make the most out of it. But what's your relationship with the Pokemon franchise? Did you start getting into Pokemon with Go? Do you have any kind of history with the franchise prior to Go? Did you ever play the card game or watch the anime or anything like that?
A little bit, yeah. So when I was younger, I would say that was probably like 3rd or 4th grade. It was Pokemon Red and Blue is when that first came out. So I was just gung-ho with that and then the trading cards. And I really stopped after Gen 1. So beyond Gen 1, like everything that I've picked up in Pokemon Go has been like completely new to me.
Oh,
and
nice.
It's kind of like fun at the same time because it's like, okay, if Gen 6 dropped tomorrow, I would have no idea what was going on. I couldn't even name one Pokemon in Gen 6 right now, right? Which is kind of crazy for a content creator. And I'm willing to admit that, but, obviously I then go and study this stuff so I can make sure that we, get out the proper content for everybody. So it's kind of like unique and fun for me because it's like, oh my gosh, like all this new stuff. I have no idea what's going on. And I think that some aspect of that has kind of like made this even more enjoyable for me because it's like Christmas every time something new comes out because I'm like, oh my God, I don't even know what that is, but it looks so cool. And it's like, well, it sucks. I'm like, oh, well, I can't do that, right? Like,
you're like this thing's a keychain. What is
it? No, but that's cool because like we had Mystic 7 on and he said the same thing. He goes, look, I don't know any of these Gen 5 Pokemon. He's like, I literally don't know. He's like, if I see a silhouette on the radar, it's like, that's a true silhouette. I don't know what that is. So He's like, when I find it and I see the name and I try to, pronounce it the right way and then I say it wrong like 100 times over because I just don't know. He said just like you, he goes, it does have this level of excitement that it does, even as a content creator, like you can capture those moments because it is new and fresh. I mean, that's super cool because someone who's had, have romanced the series for, 20 years, they know these Pokemon through and through, but, seeing like an Oshawott for the first time and you're like, oh my God, how cute is that? You know what I mean?
Exactly. That's literally what I had. Gen 5 starters, I was like, oh my God, Oshawott is so cute. And Samurott is amazing. So I'm like super excited about it.
Yeah. I know. I just saw an Emblor. Awesome. Somebody evolved one and I was just like, what?
Oh, no way. I haven't seen one yet.
I had to double take because I was like, that's so sick.
Well, that's Melissa's take on all this shit. She's like, look, she goes, I'm going to like the ones that are cute. Like it doesn't make a difference how they perform. She's like, I want to catch the cute shit because when I look at my phone, I want to look at the cute shit.
Happy. Like I want to see a cute little Pokemon, not something that looks like a weird, I don't know, metal thing.
I think that's the cool thing about Pokemon Go is you can literally like play it however you want, right? Like, so for me, it might be hardcore raids. For somebody else like Melissa, it's just like cute Pokemon, or somebody else, it's like collecting Stardust, or it's like, I don't know, people like one of my Discord members, Matthew, collects level 1 Pokemon. So it's just like, you can literally make anything cool for you, right? That's why the game is so unique.
Yeah. No, I love that. And we were just talking about that last week also because Niantic has done a pretty awesome job of kind of, identifying these different little subcultures and cliques and niche trainer segments within the game, and then trying to make these different systems within the game kind of reinforce each other. So it's like, all right, you want a PvP, you need Stardust. To get Stardust, you have to get out there and grind. Oh, you want to change your moves and you need TMs? The only way to do that is to get it through raids. So now the PvPer has to go out and raid. And it's like, before you know it, it's like, yeah, I love PvP and I'm focusing on PvP, but I still have to get out there and grind and catch, and I still have to get out there and grind and raid in order to support my PvP habit.
So you're still being part of the game.
Yeah, it's like it's brilliant. Like they've got, they know what the fuck they're doing. That's why
it's good, man. It's fun.
No, that's awesome. And what motivated you to start YouTube? I mean, it's like, I know that, obviously you have a passion for the Pokemon and all that good stuff, but what about content creation brought you to YouTube? Any experience prior to your current channel, or were you a consumer? Like how did that all come about for you?
As far as YouTube goes, no, I didn't have any prior experience. The only thing that I had prior experience with like camera work and stuff like that is I was a sponsored skateboarder for a long period of time. So I'm kind of comfortable with the camera and being, around cameras all the time, because we'd go out and film skateboard videos and whatnot. And so the cameras were always around and they're always filming, and, we would do contests and stuff like that. So being in quote unquote, the public eye in some regard was cool, right? So that was just something that was fun for me. And then when Pokemon Go came out, I just got super obsessed. And at some point it kind of just felt a little bit like I was lacking something. So I overheard one of my friends in Atlanta just mention Mystic 7 and trainer tips. And I was like, I don't even, what are you talking about? And they're like, YouTubers. And I was like, what? Pokemon Go YouTube. And I was like, oh my God, what? And that's a thing. People literally record themselves playing Pokemon Go. So I checked out their channels, and in the local community, I kind of got known for catching good raid bosses for people because I was so consistent with hitting excellent throws. And so I kind of had a little following that anytime anybody would get 100% IV legendary and they weren't comfortable catching it themselves, they would literally just give me their phone. So I kind of had a little following, and I was like, that's what people really want to see. So if I could just learn how to edit, and I knew how to do a little bit of graphic work, I think that, I could make something out of this and people could see it. So that's kind of me understanding that people actually want to watch Pokemon Go on YouTube, that it was a thing, and then taking the things that I was good at teaching people and then putting that all together. And that's kind of how it started.
Nice. Yeah, well, that works out, man. I mean, if you bridge the gap between a need for something and your own, want for creative outlet. I mean, that's a great pairing, because then it's you're motivated to do it because there's a need for it, and you're motivated to do it because you want to, get out there and be creative. So
100%. I wish I would have started when the game first came out, because that's when it was the most exciting, because it was so new and it was so big. But at the same time, it was cool that it I played it so much. That's why I can teach in some manners that I do, because it's I have a deeper understanding about playing hardcore, and then I can relate it back to people that don't play hardcore, that maybe just want to get a little bit of extra bonus features or whatever it is out of playing their game, right?
Yeah, no, I love that, because it's, we're over 3 years in now, so it's with the game, and you're starting to see content creators come out that literally have been inspired by content creators that are already in this space. So
Absolutely.
When Trainer Tips and Mystic 7 and those early guys, Ben, Tim, even Reversal, when they all first started, they didn't have anyone within the Pokemon Go space to draw inspiration from. They were drawing inspiration from vloggers like Casey Neistat or, something like that, where that's why, the Pokemon Go YouTube thing has kind of had this crazy air of cinematography and travel vlogging associated with it, because a lot of the kind of trendsetters in the Go space were mirroring the work and channels of travel vloggers. So it's that kind of all paired in. And now you have creators that, they're drawing their inspiration from the Go network, from people that are in that scene. So it's it's so cool to see that kind of giving back to the itself.
Yeah, everything
and that machine kind of rolling forward. Yeah, hell yeah, it's super cool. That's super awesome.
That's so sweet.
Let's get to your content here. What's the most important thing that you try to get across in your content? Because I was kind of alluding a little bit earlier, this level of positivity and energy that you have, and it's it comes across so heavy with your videos that you're so freaking charged up. It's it's so awesome. What's important to you to get across to your community and your viewers when you make a video? Is there anything that kind of is important to you to get a sentiment across?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, obviously, you can tell that it's the positivity and the energy, because for me, if I'm going to teach you something that may be like a little boring, I got to put energy behind it so that you can be engaged in the content. Because if I'm going to be reading you stats for 5 or 10 minutes, that can get boring. So definitely the energy transfer is number one. And I think that actually, like, at a deeper level, like, influences your conscious and subconscious, outlook on life. And oftentimes people are like, oh, I was watching your video and I got a shiny, right? And so some people may consider that just luck, but I think at a deeper level, I think that, we're a lot more powerful than we think we are. And our underlying subconscious positivity or negativity really influences our overall life. So underlying deep-seated, that's definitely something that I aim to do for people. And then on the surface level, it's really just, delivering as much content to help you play the game, enjoy the game. And it wasn't until I went to Japan that my vlog videos started just to become a little bit more popular. I think that's kind of like when I started to hit my threshold of people want to see, like, me play the game and not just teach the game. So now it's kind of expanding a little bit more to that I'm able to put out vlogs and people actually want to watch it. Because before that, like before GoFest Chicago this year, I swear my vlogs would get like 2,000 or 3,000 views, and they take the most time and effort to edit them because you're,
Sure.
synchronizing all these clips. And it's not like I just throw down a tripod and I know what I'm going to say and I can clip and edit it. It's just like, a big string of looking through clips and footage and finding all this stuff. So that's just like the evolution of the channel. And it's just, for me, it's just fun to connect with people. And then, most of the time I'm doing content by myself. Like I literally just have a tripod in some nice field somewhere and that's all it is. And then when you have an event like a GoFest or like a Montreal Safari Zone or anything like that, and then you actually see people that watch your content, it's just a different feeling because now you're in a space where like-minded individuals are. And it's so weird from like what my daily life actually is, right? So it's just really cool to see the evolution of that.
That's really cool approach, and I think that just jumping back to like what caught my eye or caught my ear with what you had just said was that transfer of energy, and I think that's super
hashtag
cool.
Listen while you play, and if you are listening while you play, you should have a shiny right about now.
Yeah. No, because like it's what drew me to your videos early on was I was the type of person that I loved the nerdy shit. I love the spreadsheets. I love the data and the statistics and things like that. And I didn't mind getting, tons of numbers rattled off to me, but like something like that for Melissa, like even when we do it here on the show, it's like I can
brutal.
I can look over. She'll be sleeping. It's like because it's like there's no interest at all in it, and I think that it's so when you have an approach that's kind of statistical and core mechanics and that kind of thing with driving content, it is a juxtaposition to the vlogging and the travel and things like that but they're both such incredibly core dynamic elements of what this game is and what the game entertainment has become when it comes to content. So Absolutely. I really appreciate what you're doing and especially with the vlogs coming out now, because I think you're really hitting a stride of balancing the difference between, like you said, this education through high intensity and energy, right, and the vlogging of you getting out there and being like, look, we're making this happen, and we're taking those techniques that I just schooled you on for an hour, and now we're applying them. And I think that's like, oh my God, the synergy there. It's like, yes, and you're able to, like, I forget what I was watching your Darkrai video today, and it was like, you were referencing other videos that you had released in the week prior. And it's like, man, this is a great fucking cycle, because he put out a video about excellent throws, put out a video about this, and now he's at the raid itself. And he's like, hey, remember that video I made? If not, here's the link. This is the technique I'm using right now. And I was like, yes, that's like, it was just the way everything fell together. I was like, that's really cool. But that being said, with you having an information-driven approach to your content, I have to imagine that the timing of these videos is important. And you even said at the beginning of the show that you put out a lot of content, and you're constantly cranking shit out. Like, what are your feelings with how this game is paced? Like, as a creator, as a trainer? I mean, obviously as a trainer, it's fucking awesome because there's just always stuff to do. But as a creator that's pumping out video content that requires sound editing, audio editing, thumbnails, like all this crazy stuff, like, Like that's got to be pretty difficult to keep up. What are your feelings on the pace of the game overall from both perspectives, the creator and the trainer?
I mean, I really like it, to be honest. I think the game is awesome. I like the pace a little bit more fast paced. Definitely as a creator, it cuts into like the ability of me to actually play, to be quite honest with you. And I feel like at my point right now, that's okay for me. Like, I don't feel like I need to go out and grind like, hundreds of raids anymore, because I think I've done about 3,000 raids or so. So I've kind of seen like, what the payoff is as far as, what you're going to do and what you're kind of going to get and what the averages is. And I do believe that like your positivity or negativity underlying in your mindset can definitely influence that. However, I also like just the law of averages over the time frame. So it's like, for me, and you said it really well, the timing is everything, especially for smaller channels. And I would definitely consider myself a little bit on the smaller end, maybe starting to breach a little bit to the larger end in the near future. But at any point, the timing is so crucial, because as soon as somebody like, Mystic 7 or Trainer Tips or something puts out a thumbnail on the internet that has something to do with the event, anybody that doesn't know anything about content creation is automatically going to see like, oh, this person's more popular, I should go watch their video. And they'll be recommended over a smaller channel. So the timing in that regard, I was fortunate to kind of understand that early in the game, that it's like, if I want to compete with bigger people, I have to put higher quality content out faster than they can put it out. And in the earlier days, it was a lot easier. Now it's a little bit harder, as Pokemon Go works a little bit with some of the creators, as we can all tell when a news drops and 5 videos drop at the same time.
They're like,
right?
guess what, Team Rocket? And you're like, no.
Then it's like, oh my God, how do I even, compete with that anymore? But fortunately, I'm in a place where people like look for my content. So the timing is so impeccably crucial, because like you can check out my channel, like my Flygon video when I did Best of the Best for Flygon. Unfortunately, there was so much else going on that I then had to basically sacrifice that video, and I knew that it wasn't going to do well based on the timing, but I had other videos that I knew would be better well served if I put them out before that. Man, so you can just see in the content creation, and then putting videos out, like I've done it where it's like, you'll do one in the morning and do one at night. It just kind of gets like some of the videos will get lost over time. So it's just kind of trying to find that perfect balance of like, where's my core viewership? What time are they looking for the content? What's big coming out? Should I sacrifice this video, and finding which video is going to be the best served for that time frame right there? And then as far as like a video that's kind of just like a nonchalant video, like I put out, when's the best time to power or wait to power up your rare Pokemon? Those are only able to do well when nothing big is going on, because the events will horribly overshadow something like that.
Well, it seems like you have a very comprehensive approach and
deep understanding
here. Yeah, and it's really
that's crazy,
inspiring. Yeah, I mean, well, we've had so many content creators on, and hearing the talking about like not just the quality of the content, but the delivery of the timing and making it work with whatever else is also in the market. That's just an understanding of the market. So that's I definitely appreciate that, man. That's really freaking cool. That's super cool.
For sure. And sometimes you're going to sacrifice a video and lose some views on it, and that's okay. And it's more like, it's not about the views, but it's just like, I could have got it into the hands of more people. And sometimes, it's just life that comes up a little bit. I try not to make that an excuse, but sometimes, life will happen. You'll go out to dinner with the family and you're like, man, I should have just not done that and just edited this video. But at the same time, it's like, you got to live a little
life
bit.
Is important.
And I usually don't let that happen. I usually do not let that happen. If I'm making that excuse, I wasn't prepared enough, for the most part.
Nice. Wow.
You got to find balance. You got to keep that balance, though.
Yes.
Well, I think with the approach that you have, talking about energy and subconscious and conscious, thought, I think it's pretty it's a pretty cool way to look at the whole thing and keep things balanced. That's a really cool way to look at it. All right, I want to shift gears real quick and talk about the game proper, the actual game itself. Let's, we bring guests on. I like to learn about them and all that good stuff, but it's not often that we actually dig into the mechanics of the game. So I do want to cover some stuff with the game, because I value your opinion, because it seems like you're through and through. You're reading the matrix of the game, and I appreciate that. So I want to talk to you about a couple things here, and I like to start this like this. what's the best and the worst of the game to you? Like, what's the best part of the game? What's the worst part of the game? Anything that like really makes you happy, and then anything that really bugs you?
I would say for me, the best part of the game is definitely like a lot of the new features, like the raids, the best friends, and, you know, being able to get lucky friends so you can reroll these shinies. Those are probably some of my favorite features of the game. As far as like the worst parts of the game, I would just say sometimes of the lack of congruency as far as like how fast you can send gifts, and like just the tediousness of some things when it's like, you know, I guess this is an excuse, but being a content creator, it's like, if I could just have this go a little faster, it would be easier for me to send gifts to people, because I need to edit my video, put out the content, plan for the next content, play my game so I can actually play my game, so that when I do put out content, I can have relevant stuff. So it's, you know, just like those couple things where it's like, why can't I just mass send 10 gifts to people? Or why can't we just have 20 gifts? So I would just say from that standpoint, and I get it, some of it has to deal, and I don't know if anybody looks at it this way, like the addictive part of being a video game player, right? Like, so the more times you click into a game, you're creating more neural pathways in your brain so that you can then have that more ingrained into your daily habits, right? So I think that underlying that, some of the psychology of gaming is partly due to that, why we don't see these pretty easy, simple quality of life updates like mass send gifts. Why can't we just see gifts? Like, they want you to interact more with their game, because the more interaction you can have, the more basically it's ingrained into your brain and ingrained into your life. So that becomes just like a part of your daily life. And I think that in some part we say, what are the best and the worst? And I think that the worst parts maybe have some underlying effects of that in it.
Bro, you're blowing my freaking mind right now.
You're on like another level. I'm thinking about it too. I'm like, man, I spend so much time sending gifts.
Yeah, because think about it, like the convenience factor of things, the more convenient something becomes, the easier it is to forget.
Yeah, man.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, and like even thinking about it, like you just said, like if I have to click into those 10 people to send them a gift, I'm seeing their name. I'm seeing what their trainer looks like. I'm seeing what their what Pokemon they have. It's like you said, it's just a further engagement of the game. So
yeah.
Not only that, you are physically spending more time in the game itself. So you're creating a longer connection with that atmosphere. You know, like if you have to individually send 10 gifts, that's going to take you, we'll say, 5 minutes, whereas mass sending will take you 1 second. So
totally.
They want to keep you engaged and involved and in that screen and in those menus.
Yeah, exactly.
And to me, it's just like when we talk about quality of updates, it's like, you know, I'm already a part of the game. You know, I'm a content creator, so we you know, I think it's pretty safe to say that, you know, them making the game easier for me to play isn't going to lose me. And so for me, it's more of like just being efficient, so then I can go and catch more shinies or catch more raids, or, you know, do more raids or whatever that is for me. But I don't know if the whole entire psychology of the game would make sense to be able to do that.
Well, yeah, I mean, as a consumer, because if I can get, like, there is certain things about this game that are kind of chores. The sending gifts, you know, if you're still on that, you know, go snapshot, like the grind of trying to get Smeargle, like those little things that you want to do every day. It's like if you could just get that stuff up and over with quicker. As a consumer, though, you're going to be on to the next app or on to the next game, where, you know, Niantic wants you to plant those roots. You know, they don't want you to get through that stuff quickly, because they want you to have, you know, if you're going to have screen time on your device, they want their app in front of you, not anyone else's. So yeah, 100%. There's got to be some psychology behind that they are trying to hold you in place, because, and again, that's that crazy balance of quality of life versus, you know, just function in the game.
So it's literally just like the perfect balanced seesaw.
Yeah,
one end is the best features and the most easy features, and the other end is like, can I keep this person engaged in my app for a long period of time? And so like taking off one, I'm going to make this mass send gifts, like it's going to imbalance. So then what do we have to do to keep them engaged, right? So then they have to do something to either introduce a new feature or a new engagement. So it's like probably that's what's going on behind the scenes a lot.
Sick. And what are your feelings on the Regigigas event and the whole ticketing process? Because this has kind of been heated in our community and you know, just the social community at large.
Really?
Yeah, man. Like I've seen it. I've seen people feel very strongly in both directions about this, where some people are like, shut up and take my money, and some people are like, oh, maybe I'll wait, and then some people are like, fuck that, this is a free-to-play game, you know, I'll just wait it out. Like, where do you stand on this?
For me, it's like I said, it always goes back to like what and how do you like to play the game. So that's why it's cool, because like if you never want to go to a Go Fest, you never want to travel, you don't want to go and catch Pokemon in other places, like you don't have to do that, right? But as far as like an in-game event, my hope is that they get it to a place that it can be like that Go Fest makeup day, where it's like, hey, just pay us $10 and we'll throw like an epic Go Fest day for 8 hours in your local community, and we'll do that. Like that's literally what I talked about in that video. I don't even actually think I released that video, but I talked about that, where it was like, why can't we just have Go Fest, you know, like every month or two, where it's like introduce or like have a bunch of shinies and everything's boosted? Because I would pay $10 for that, because if you've been to a Go Fest, it's epic. Like Go Fest Chicago is by far the best event that I've been to so far. Like blew out Japan, blew out Montreal. Like the quality and the amount of Pokemon that you could catch there was just amazing, and the shiny density and all the different places, like it was nowhere even competed close to that. So I just think that it would be awesome. I don't know how this event's going to go, and I don't know if they're going in that direction, but I mean, $8 is not like a tremendously large amount of money. And at some point you'll get the Regigigas. You may just have to wait 3 weeks for it. And Regigigas isn't like a Zekrom game changer where it's like, oh, now you can just dominate everything, period. So in that regards, I hope that the event goes in the fact that they're going to start boosting the shiny rates, that like, you know, they'll boost the spawns. You'll have some maybe cool spawns, and then you'll get the research on top of that. So it's almost like a mini Go Fest. And this is just a test to see how that's going to go, because then we would be able to do raids. And if they boosted the raids, which is like this first year of Go Fest, everybody thinks it failed. I thought it was the best event ever, to be quite honest with you. But it would be then like that. And then you could actually raid outside of the Pokemon Go Fest, because you can't raid at those events because there's just way too many people. Like, let's just be real. You can't handle that. That's why the first Go Fest, quote unquote, failed, which ended up being epic. But
yeah, no, I think that the localized kind of, here's your Go Fest, you know, incense, where you just, you know, put, you know, here's your incense, it'll last you 8 hours, and you're going to have like insane spawns happening. Now, the interesting part is like, will the spawns that we see be global? Like consistent between trainer to trainer, meaning, okay, if I have an incense on and I have a Venonat spawn in front of me off my incense, you're not going to see that because it's off my incense. So these event, quote unquote, incense, will it, you know, if something spawns in front of me, like an event Pokemon, like if I get a Geodude, because that's
good question.
You know, will you see the Geodude, or is it like, you know, if
is it actually an incense?
Well, that's the thing. I don't know. Like,
no, because I made up the Pokemon Go Fest on Saturday. I met a friend at Go Fest, and he's like, I'm working that day. He's like, for content purposes, if you want, you can play in my game. And I was like, all right, cool. Like, I'll do it. And so I played for a friend, and it was literally just like at 10 o'clock, your account was tagged. Boom, all the shiny rates increase, all the Absol start spawning. There's no incense. It's literally just being like at a Go Fest.
But people that all, did you play alongside anyone that also had the
100%. Everything was the same. It was just like what normally spawns changed into rare cool spawns. Like if this was a Pidgey for you and I have this event ticket, it's an Absol for me.
Wow.
Interesting. All right. So that's really cool. Yeah, I'm psyched for this. Like I have to work during the Regigigas event, so I'm not going to be able to play. But I mean, I got the ticket. You know what I mean? It's like I'm still going to complete the special research.
Sure.
But it'll be interesting to see how it all rolls out, because I think this could potentially be just a nice option and solution for rural players and players that can't travel. Like it's just a different way to way to engage with the game. So I like that.
100%. Yeah, I'm all on board. Honestly, for me, I don't see the down. I mean, it's $8. Like that's not like they're not asking like 30, 40, 50.
Right.
It's not crazy. Like if you don't want to do it, you'll get it at some point. Like there's still an event going on within the event.
Exactly.
So it's not really like you're not missing out on too much. Like never in Pokemon Go are you ever like, I'm really missing out by not spending money. Sure, you could do more raids and maybe get more Pokemon, but in actuality, when you're breaking it down, A 90% raid boss and a 100% raid boss is really not that different. So if you don't pay and you have a 90% maxed out Rayquaza, not that different than a 100% maxed out Rayquaza, right? Like, so the reality is like your consciousness and your desire to have that perfect Rayquaza may be strong, but the game function is not really that strong.
Interesting. That's a cool way to look at it, man. I definitely dig that perspective. I think that's a totally fresh way to look at it, and it's getting me really getting my gears going of the whole psychology behind it all, and it's very, very interesting and intriguing to me. That's really cool.
I was wondering if we were going to go there at some point.
I'm glad we did.
I literally thought about it. I was like, should I drop this?
No,
Is
dude,
this like
I'm
kosher to talk about?
I'm so glad you did, because it's a different perspective and a different way. But I mean, obviously, this has tremendous impact on the game as a whole, but also the player base. Everybody thinks about this game differently. Melissa and I will battle till we're blue in the face about how dedicated I am to the game and obsessed with it. Versus the way she plays or how she thinks about it. I mean, it's so different for different people. And sure. It's for some, like, you could have two people arguing about the game, and it's like one person could be like, "You just don't get it," and the other person would be like, "You just don't get it," because it's so connected,
sure.
And so ingrained. It's very
I feel like I'm more involved. Like I feel more pressure to log in and check my spawns, because with the whole spawn revamp or whatever, I now have like 4, 5, 6 at a time.
That's epic,
right? And I'm like, so it's a constant, like the second I wake up.
The opposite of the fear of missing out.
Yeah.
I'm missing out on the extra shit.
Because normally I'd have one spawn and it would be just like the worst. Like whatever. It'd be a Pidgey, an Oddish, a Rattata. It would never be anything. And there's like last night at like 2 o'clock in the morning, there was a Lapras.
What?
I'm just like,
that's amazing.
That doesn't make sense. Why is there a Lapras?
I always thought that like it would be really cool if they like took this game, and I understand like this game is kind of, if we really think about it, geared for older people, right? Like you have to almost like drive to get to the cool places. Like you want to go downtown Chicago to get dope Pokemon, like you have to drive there, right? If you don't live there, right? So I always thought it would be cool, like if they geared it a little bit more towards like localization, and like, in different neighborhoods, they had like different, this area over here is a water biome and a grass biome. And then like you could literally walk around the neighborhood similar to like Ash back in the day and just make like a densely populated game almost all over the place. And I get that it would take away, but if you just made those places that are dope even more dope, like, oh, you go over there, you're catching like Charizards and Laprases and Snorlaxes, but over here you can still catch Charmanders and Charmeleons, right? Like, so that you're not really missing out. And I think that like, for me, I think that would be a lot of fun. And then like kids, it would be easier. And I get maybe why, like from a appropriateness of society and stuff like that, why that may not happen. Cause then you might just have a bunch of kids roaming around and that may not be good. But for me, like that'd be awesome. Like I could just go and like, oh, I'm going to walk to the school a couple blocks away, and that's where there's like 10 gyms, and I could just play, right? So then it would be more engaging and I don't have to drive as much.
Interesting, man. All right. Well, as we wrap up here, man, it's I kind of, and I'm typically not one to look at analytics and statistics and numbers of guests, but I looked on your Social Blade, and I never do this before. I never really go into this, and because I've seen just absolute phenomenal growth in your channel over the past year, and I had to take a look, and I was like, holy shit, man! Like the numbers have really been awesome for you over the past 12 months. So, as you have this growth coming out of 2019, going into 2020. Any goals that you have for 2020 for the channel, for yourself, for any events or destinations, travel, anything like that you're looking to accomplish in 2020?
Yeah, absolutely. For 2020, man, I'll be at some point in California. I'm in Chicago right now, so I'll be relocating, which is going to be awesome. I've always wanted to live in California, so I feel fortunate enough to be in a place where it's like, okay, this can, happen now. And for myself, it's always like, I have an undergrad in accounting. I have a master's in human nutrition and functional medicine. And I've always been in places, and I also have my personal training certification. So it's always been like I've based my life on other schedules, and that's not really cool for me. Like it's really like, it really like grinds my core fundamentals of who I am as a human being to be on somebody else's schedule and like, oh, you can't take vacation during this time because this is the busy time for personal training or seeing clients or working. And then it's like, but you can take vacation during week December 10th through the 12th. And I'm like, okay, well, that's not going to work for me. So I'm fortunate enough to found something, and I got to credit a lot of the growth to like a lot of supporter YouTubers like Zoe and Reversal, and like Nick and Brandon that have fortunately blessed. And Reversal has been a huge supporter of me since 2 years Go Fest when I had like 5,000 subscribers. So super appreciate that, dude. And then Pokemon Master Holly, she welcomed me in right from the beginning. And then actually like before that, Jono Plays was a big part. He really like helped me out. He was super boosting and promoting me with all the subscribers. So I really appreciate that. And then all the local people that really got geeked on my content and, saw the potential behind me. All the people back in Atlanta. We had like a hardcore raid crew that was like Alex and Tommy and all those other guys that participated in that crew. Really appreciate them. Tommy was a big supporter as far as like teaching me some of the really hardcore mechanics of the game, as well as Alex. And then, my crew, which was like Wes and Matt and all these other people, Daniel and my buddy Kelvin, that really supports me and always encourages me, because it's not that easy all the time when maybe you'll have a couple videos that won't do so well, because the roller coaster ride right in the beginning is kind of up and down a little bit, and it can be a little discouraging at times, but it's just that persistency and consistency that is really the key for that. And then my buddy Yan Yan in Chicago and his entire crew, they're just super blessing as well. So everybody that's been supporting me, I really appreciate. And all my other friends and, Atlanta, Smyrna crew that really helped me out. Really appreciate all those guys for doing what they did. And, we're out there promoting me, and all my friends out there that out there and promote me. It's just a blessing to have such good supporters, and I'm thankful for everybody that is out there. As far as like growth wise and how I've been fortunate enough to grow, it's almost like another psychology that this is what I see happen quite often. And it happened to me when I first started my channel. You can't be unreliable for people, because people start to depend on you for stuff. Like I noticed even my Darkrai Excellent Throw video, like Darkrai came out at 4 p.m. Eastern time, and I put my Excellent Throw video out at 9 a.m. the next day. I could have put it out the night before, but I didn't. I chose to put it out in the morning. And I already had people like, dude, where's your throw tutorials? Like, and I'm like, dude, they're coming, right? So as far as if you're wanting to start a channel for any future content creators out there, I think the worst thing you could do is start and stop. Because that then you may have people geeked up on your stuff, and then all of a sudden you stopped, and so they dropped off, even if you built a couple hundred or 1,000 or a couple thousand subscribers, and then you pick back up again, and then maybe like you do that twice, and people are like, okay, I can't depend on this person. And maybe they don't actually think that, but they feel that, and the feeling is really what it comes down to. So for future content creators, just be reliable and dependable for your audience, and constantly deliver and try to, make yourself better. But as far as 2020 and growth, like I was really hoping to try to hit 100,000 subscribers by the end of the year, but that's definitely not going to happen. But I would love to get to there. I'm excited about that. And then maybe branch into not branch out of Pokemon Go, but I would love to start creating music, DJing and stuff like that. So yeah, that's kind of like a branch out, and then grow my channel to a place that I can basically maybe hire an editor. So it would be like I could still full on do everything I do with Pokemon Go and just add on, because in the past, and I've transferred through a whole bunch of myriad of different things, as I've told you all the things I've done, and that's just a small handful of them. It's like the worst thing I think you could do is start something and then just completely stop and then start again, stop and start again because you don't like it. And so it's like you kind of have this momentum and then it falls off. And then you literally start from ground zero, you start and then it falls off. So it's like find a way to take those things that you have and keep making them grow. And if you don't enjoy doing the entire process, get to a point where you can then have somebody doing the process you don't enjoy, but you can still grow that medium, and then you can start doing something else. So that's kind of like the new thing for me. It's like, how can I find ways to keep doing what I'm doing as efficiently as I'm doing it, and then add something in without taking away. That's like when I do vlogs and stuff. Sometimes I may put out 2 videos on the same day, because it's like, if I'm going to vlog, and I do a very good job, or at least I try to make sure that my viewers know that it's going to be a vlog, because at first my vlogs were so unpopular that I didn't want to piss any of my subscribers off and be like, this is a vlog. I want the information. So I that's why I tagged all my videos in the top corner and at the end of the description, like vlog, Pokemon Go vlog. So as a viewer, if you're only here for my information, you just skip that video. And so that's one of the reasons why I did that. And going forward, like, I'm still going to keep doing that because I just think it's like congruent that if you're literally only here and you're a hardcore player and you don't care about what I'm doing, where I'm going, what I'm catching, how I'm catching it, then you just want to see excellent throw tutorial, you want to get the stats on a Chandelure or whatever it is for you, that you don't have to do that and watch my video and then be like, I don't like this, next, right? And I think that's kind of been able to help me be congruent with all my subscribers.
That's, dude, I'm impressed, man. I think you really have a fantastic approach to creating content and connecting with your consumer base and your community. I'm inspired, man. I really appreciate you coming on the show. Learned a lot.
Oh, dude, for sure,
yeah,
man.
Definitely.
I appreciate it. And it's crazy because we were literally talking at GoFest, right? And I was like, God, this guy looks so familiar. Like, I don't, and since we had that video talk and like, I was on a cell phone, so I could barely see everybody's picture. And then you walked away and I was like, oh my God, like that's literally the podcast I was on. And I didn't even realize that I was speaking to you. And I was like, this is embarrassing. So that's when I reached out to you and I was like, oh my God, what happened there? I'm sorry, man. So it was cool like, that we were literally having that conversation.
That whole night was very hazy.
So hazy. And like, GoFest nights, I don't think that, at least for me, it's like I'm committed to play the whole day. And then sometimes we all go out to dinner. And then after that, like, I have to get my video out. And it doesn't matter what time I go to sleep. So, like, Montreal was like, we were playing, I think it was 10 a.m. was early access. So we're up at like, 7:30, 8. Get to the park by 10, play till 6 or 7. Then we went out to dinner, got back at 10:30, and I edited my vlog and got it out by like, I think it went live at 5:30 a.m. because where I was staying didn't have the best, it didn't have the best upload internet speed. And that'll literally like if you have a good one, it's like 2 minutes. If you have a bad one, it could be an hour and a half. So unfortunately where I was at on that event, it was like a little bit over an hour. So I'm like, but I know that people that are going on, I think the event was Friday. So Saturday, like I know that at least some people want to see what's coming, right? So I know that some people are going to do that. So whatever it takes to get it out before they wake up to get it out, that's just what has to happen.
That's awesome, man. Well, dude, thank you so much for coming on the show. I really do appreciate it. I think that, you're definitely setting a position for yourself to kind of differentiate yourself from the rest of the pack and what's going on. And I think our community would definitely enjoy what you're doing because you have this kind of, like you're saying, this balance between playing and engaging with the game and, just fucking information. And I think that really works for our community. So why don't you let our community know where that whole thing too. But where can we find you? Where should we direct our some traffic to? And what's the best place for people to kind of see what you have going on?
The YouTube,
yeah, man. I mean, obviously, like my biggest place is YouTube. So, I mean, you could just search The Trainer Club on YouTube, or you could do youtube.com/The Trainer Club, and it'll take you right to my channel. And then if you want to interact with me on social media, I would say the most engaged part is Twitter. Twitter is pretty engaged. So yeah, and it's just The Trainer Club with 2 B's after it. Unfortunately, The Trainer Club with 1 B was taken. So that's where I'm at. And fortunately, my name is Billy, so it kind of works out. All right. So that's the story I tell myself. But maybe one day I'll be blessed with that handle.
Trainer Club.
Awesome. Well, dude, thank you so much again for coming on. I'll put links in the description to everywhere you could find Billy in the Trainer Club. Make sure you please connect with him and definitely check out the content. Everyone else, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to rip through the news. Maybe we'll cut out our Regice battle party. I don't know. We'll decide on the second half, but we'll rip through some news, get through that stuff, and we'll be back right after this. Billy, thanks again so much for coming on. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Ken, Melissa, Adam. Super appreciate you guys. Can't wait to see what you guys got coming in the future.
Nice talking to you, dude.
All right. We'll be right back. And we are back from our break. Thank you guys so much for that. Billy from the Trainer Club, thank you so much for coming on the show. Very, very insightful. It has my mind all messed up. I'm thinking about a whole bunch of weird stuff right now. Adam, what about you, man? What'd you think?
I got my mind on my stats and my mind on my Pokeballs.
I don't know, man.
Wait, what?
I got my mind on my mind, I think. It's crazy. But yeah, Billy, thank you so much for coming on the show. Make sure you guys check him out. Just a quick heads up, Melissa is bowing out for the second half of the show. She's not feeling well. Apologize, guys, that we've been very light on the internet lately. So we'll definitely make sure she's back in full swing next week. Really quick, I wanted to give a shout out to our show supporter tier patrons before we start the back half of the show. Special thanks to Brittany, Jay, Matt, M. Pitts, Terry, David, Chris, Sydney, Bacon L, The Noise, Harry, Poké, Nav, Bot, Purple Pancakes, Dem Gears Be Bangin', Lady Goobly Meat, Super Nerd Fox, Go Ranger Matt, The Phoenix, Baker Boy, Jolt Switch, Alex, The Illustrious Overseer, Jason, Go Live Andrew, Matt from Kentucky, Paul, Justin, and Val. Thank you guys so incredibly much for your support. Huge shout out to Seth for joining at the Discord tier this week. Brand new patron. Thank you so much. And a much appreciated shout and thank you to our executive producer, Paul Bhatt, for supporting us on Patreon and making it happen like he does. Thank you guys. So
you guys rock.
Much. All right, we got a lot to cover on the back half. We went a little long in the front half with Billy, so we're going to cut our Reggie battle party out. I'll still put links in the description so you can check out the Pokemon Go Hub raid guides. But there's it's they're only here for a weekend, so I figured it's okay to chop. So sorry to the Reggies. We'll come back next week with a Regigigas raid guide and battle party to make up for it. But we're going to catch up here in the back half of the show. We'll talk the 0.159.0 APK mine. The Go Battle League has been announced. We've got an interesting community note that was posted on Niantic's blog. We have multiple Willow reports. We'll break into that and just kind of get caught up with some miscellaneous news. Adam, did you look at this APK mine? Have you seen the goodies that are inside? There's a lot of good stuff in here.
I have seen the goodies.
Okay.
And my favorite part. Can I tell you my favorite
All right, well,
part?
before you do that, this is coming from APK Mine that was performed by the Go Hub team, so I will read the Go Hub disclaimer. It says, please be aware that everything posted here has been publicly reported by data miners. Information shared through these channels is not affiliated nor approved by Niantic and is always subject to change. Do not take it for granted. Features changed and get scrapped all the time. It is very important that you are aware, and these things can and will change. All right. Disclosure out of the way. APK mine of 0.159.0. Adam, what's your favorite part? Go for it.
Galarian forms.
Okay.
Weezing and Zigzagoon and Lanoon.
Okay, but where's freaking Ponyta? All right, so this is the interesting part. So Galarian forms are in the code, but only for Weezing and then the Zigzagoon line, Zigzagoon and Lanoon. So we know that Galarian Ponyta was released, but Ponyta was released a couple weeks after Weezing and Zigzagoon and Linoon. So,
and well, we still get Sirfetch'd as well. And will we be getting the third form?
Yeah, well, that's like Sirfetch'd though isn't in the code yet. That's what I'm saying. Sirfetch'd isn't in the code. Ponyta isn't in the code. We've talked about them, but they're not in the code. The only thing in the code right now is Weezing, Zigzagoon, and Lanoon, unless something else has come out that I don't know about. So it's interesting that they would put some Pokemon in the code and not put all the Pokemon in the code as far as Galarian forms. So we'll have to pay attention to that to see, because I would really like a Ponyta. I would really like that Ponyta. It just looks so damn good. It's such a good looking Pokemon. It's Sirfetch'd too, but you got to remember, Sirfetch'd isn't a Galarian form. Sirfetch'd is an evolution of Farfetch'd that's available in Galar. It's not a Galarian form.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like with Weezing, you could still get a regular Weezing and a Galarian Weezing, where you're
like
not
the
getting
Alolan Executor and stuff.
You're not going to get a regular Sirfetch'd and a Galarian Sirfetch'd. It's just Sirfetch'd.
Yeah, so Weezing we'll probably see in raids similar to
like Alolan Raichu. That's
Tinfoil Hat, Weezing in raids and Zigzagoon in the wild.
Well, that's exactly how I think it's going to be. Weezing just like Alolan Raichu, and Zigzagoon just like Alolan Rattata. You know what I mean? Like there's just that's what we'll see, which is really cool. I enjoyed when they brought the Alolans in. Hopefully they won't clog up the egg pool if they bring other forms in, other Galarian forms in. I don't know how it'll all work out, but I do like when they kind of give us this time warpy stuff, where they're giving us things that are being released out of the Gen 8 pool. Or a Gen 8
like this
game.
Pikachu with the costume from Mimikyu.
Yeah, like that's it's meta in its own sense because, you know, Mimikyu is a Gen 7 Pokemon, so it's breaking the timeline a little bit. So I dig that.
But I mean, we got the
definitely
Mimikyu hat last year, right?
We did. We got that first. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, it's like they kind of already gave it to us.
I like that
once.
though. I like that they're breaking that up. I think that's really cool. Let's see what else we have here in this APK mod.
Okay, I lied. Maybe this new feature to Adventure Sync. This is probably my because nobody likes exercising. You know what I mean?
Well, maybe Billy from the Trainer Club does.
maybe. Okay, Billy. All right, don't get mad at me. No. But it'll give you more. This gives you more incentive to want to do more, to be better.
All right, it's 100K of walking. It's a level 4 Adventure Sync reward. I think Reversal had posted up a screenshot of the rewards, and it was 16,000 Stardust, 2 eggs. I think he had 20 regular Pokeballs, 10 Great Balls, but the 16,000 Stardust is pretty significant, especially if you're rocking a Star Piece, just as an extra weekly bonus. I don't think that this is too practical of a thing for people that could potentially be struggling to hit 50 are going to hit 100. I think the people that are going to be hitting this 100 are the people that are already doing 100. Like, you know what I mean? We've got a couple people in our Discord, Sene. I apologize if I don't know how to pronounce your name, man, but this dude's doing like, he'll post on like a Wednesday and he's got like 100K already. It's like, geez, it's crazy. It's absolutely insane.
He probably just tapes it to his ceiling fan.
He's got the Pokewalker 5000.
Yeah.
The little no. So, Adam, you mentioned 2 things out of this APK. You didn't even mention like the best thing, in my opinion, the biggest part.
Those are the
Team
only
Go
2
Rocket. The Go Rocket HQ and Giovanni code is in the freaking game. It's in there. It's in the APK.
Badge. We already knew that was coming.
Yeah, we knew it was coming, but it's here. It's in the code. The badge for defeating Giovanni is in the code. So this stuff is coming. We knew it was coming, but now it's getting closer and closer because I could smell it. But that stuff is in the code. We've got new themes, new quests. We've got new music. So maybe these Go Rocket encounters will kind of have different music. And then something that's kind of funky. I don't know how this will pan out. A Rocket Stop curfew with varying schedules by day. So we might see. Like we see raids stop, at a certain hour every night. We might see these Go Rocket Stops starting to stop at a certain hour in the night because they identify and itemize every single day of the week and then have the word curfew in there. So, maybe 9, 10, 10 p.m. the Go Rocket Stops will stop spawning. But there's a lot of stuff in this update. I'll put the link to the Go Hub article so you can actually look at everything that was here.
Yeah, okay. Yeah,
what?
I was just going to say, because it probably has something to do with defeating them and then the new bosses that are coming out, and they probably have something to do with like taking over a gym.
Well, if it's a group thing, that's the only thing.
Yeah, then it becomes like sort of like a raid.
Right.
And so you get like a pass to fight the raid.
Right, and we'll talk about that in a second when we kind of dig into the Colossal Discovery stuff that they announced. But yeah, it may be a situation where it becomes where a Go Rocket Stop is a solo thing, and a Go Rocket encounter where you're actually fighting one of these executives or ultimately Giovanni is more like a raid boss or more like a Harry Potter Wizards Unite kind of interaction kind of thing. Who knows? Like we'll have to see how it pans out, but it's all in the code, so very exciting stuff. All right, Adam, you've been on the PvP tip lately, and you were just talking earlier in the show that you're kind of motivated and getting additionally motivated to do PvP. So
yes.
why don't you read this little tidbit of information that I put here in the show notes from an announcement that came out of PokemonGoLive.com regarding the new Go Battle League coming to the game in 2020. Why don't you read this little snippet?
So hyped for this.
Hell yeah.
So it says, like many Pokemon Go features, Go Battle League will encourage players to get out and explore the world with Pokemon. Trainers will be able to walk in order to earn entry into the Go Battle League, then battle opponents from around the globe through an online matchmaking system, and rise in the ranks of the league.
All right.
VS Seekers charged by walking.
Well, that's what I'm thinking, right? They say walk in order to earn entry into the Go Battle League. So Versus Seeker has to be charged by walking. That's fair, right? To put together?
Yeah.
Okay, so the Versus Seeker serves as your ticket to the Go Battle League. So, because it's saying walk in order to earn entry into the Go Battle League. So if you're walking to charge the Versus Seeker, I don't know, is the Versus Seeker for matchmaking?
Get 3 battles.
I don't know.
You might get 3 battles a day or something like that with it fully charged.
Well, I don't know because
you get rewards.
That's the speculation
only
here.
3 battles.
Is it something where there's going to be a league every month and you have to do a month's worth of walking to power this thing up to get your ticket? Is it weekly? Is it daily? Who knows? But they're
I feel
definitely
like it would be daily because they want people to play.
I think that what's important here is the line saying walk in order to earn entry into the Go Battle League, and then also battle opponents around the globe through an online matching system and rise in the ranks. So they say walk to earn entry, online matching system, and rise in the ranks. So when they say rise in the ranks, that would make me think there's a leaderboard. When they say online matching, obviously that's matchmaking. And walk in order to earn entry, you're charging your Versus Seeker with KMs walked. It's got to be how it works.
And
Very
then
interesting.
Is this going to be if you come in the top something or however many, you get an invite to Worlds this year?
All right. You're jumping ahead of my thought process 2 seconds. Let me catch you up here. So this is slated for early 2020. The Pokemon TCG and VGC season for 2020 has already started. So with this coming in early 2020, it's already going to be 6 months behind of the TCG and the VGC global ranking system. But they said they're going to be having a dev insight video coming soon, so I'm sure we're going to see the mechanics. But my tinfoil hat conversation is, just like what you're saying, will this integrate with your Pokemon Trainer Club account? And will this remain an in-game feature, or will there be an IRL element to this? Will there be real-life events that are associated with the Go Battle League? Meaning,
yes,
weekly
110%.
tournaments at card shops, at hobby shops, at user-created things, press or program-created things, getting an invite to regional tournaments, worlds tournaments. Like, do you think that this is going to be for the gusto here? Like, you think this is going to be? Oh
yep.
Man.
It has to.
But
all
then will
signs
that
point to north?
So then it's like if you want to track this globally, you have to link a Pokemon Trainer Club account because you need that to create for a TCG account. If you want to compete in a TCG, you need a Trainer Club account.
Yeah, but this will be linked to your Pokemon Go account.
Right, but if your Pokemon Go account is still separate from your global ranking of your Pokemon account, your Pokemon proper account, you know what I mean? It's like if you want to log, you went to Worlds and competed in a DC Open. To see the results of the DC Open and see the score that you earned, you had to log in to Pokemon.com using your Pokemon Trainer Club credentials.
Yes.
So
yeah.
when I log in, I log in.
Yeah.
And it's like I log into the Pokemon Trainer Club on Pokemon.com. I can pull up my Pokemon Go settings. I can pull up my son's Pokemon Go settings. So it's like there is integration there. I'm very excited, man. I think that, they gave us, Niantic does a really good job, and even with the next thing we'll talk about, they do a really good job of just giving us enough information to set our minds off in a freaking whirlwind, but not enough information to have us know what the fuck we're talking about, because we're just talking out of our ass. You know what I mean? Because we have literally no idea what it could be. We're just guessing, but it's very exciting.
Yeah, but we got good guesses.
Well,
How many times have we been wrong on this podcast?
100%. No, it'll be definitely interesting to see how it all pans out, because I think that it seems that they're taking a big global approach to this, and if they are, I'm very excited because, I want to see all this shit happen. I want to see it happen. All right, next thing on the docket here. There was a weird community note released on PokemonGoLive.com. They don't tell us much, but they do tell us enough to build some anticipation. Again, playing into what I was just talking about. It's like 5 paragraphs that you read it, and there's a lot of words, and then when you're done, you're like, I don't really know anything new, or I haven't learned anything else, but I kind of feel better about the situation. It's really weird. They do a really good job. But so I pulled a paragraph here that I'll read that I kind of think sums up the the feelings behind this update, even though they're not giving us any direct information. So this is what it says, quote, "For some time, we've been implementing various game design changes, such as providing more items in areas with fewer Pokestops, introducing different shop bundles, and tailoring raid levels to fit the communities where the raids appear. These tests are meant to help us provide the best experience for different players around the world. A recent experiment was the launch of Legendary Raid Hour, and your feedback was instrumental in improving this now widely enjoyed event where communities around the world work together to create Pokemon Go memories," end quote. Okay. So what they're saying is, hi, we're Niantic. We're a game developer. We're developing a game. That's pretty much what they're saying. No,
I mean, you're reading between the lines.
Yeah,
but
well,
it goes along that.
So this is what I take from here. They say providing more items in areas with fewer Pokestops. So does that mean that Pokestops that will pay out greater in rural areas? Introducing different shop bundles and tailoring raid levels to fit the communities where the raids appear. Does that mean if in rural, I don't know, Alabama, there's never any raids done in a community of more than 3 people? Does that mean that they're only going to be putting 1 and 2-star raids in that community and never?
That's how I feel. There's been so many level 1 raids.
I don't know, man. I don't know what this means. It's like just enough information to get our minds going and our gears going, but not enough information to like oil those gears. It's just enough to like break our shit. You know what I mean? Because I just don't know what they mean by any of this. Because it's like, yes, they're developing a game. I mean, my main takeaway is our feedback is vital to the future of this game. And they're pretty much saying, our current experiment, Legendary Raid Hour, was developed and improved on because of your feedback. Hearing that, it makes me like want to scream at the top of the mountain. Everybody get fucking involved. Everybody make their voice heard in a constructive and positive way, because our feedback, again, we're the small percentage, the niche, we have a very small audience when it compares to the global scheme of Pokemon Go player base. So, but our small community, our small reach is very vocal. So if those people that are listening to this, if you hear this, you're obviously connected to the game in a way that most aren't. You're obviously connected to social in a way that most aren't. We need to make sure that our voices are heard when it comes to our feedback on these things, because we play a very vital role in the development of this game. And I think that that's amazing from a developmental perspective of how a game can remain relevant and have longevity, because it's powered by the people. And as long as you're making, you're standing by the people and doing things to make them happy and based on things that will make them happy, obviously that's a recipe for success. But I don't know if you had a chance to read through this whole. Did you read through this whole thing? Like, did you read through the whole thing? Like, I don't take away too much from it. It's just like,
yeah, there's not much there.
It's like, we're just want to let you know we're still making a game. Like, that's it. But hey, I'm all for updates, so I can't get too mad. All right, Adam, have you seen the Professor Willow report? Have you seen this kind of narrative they're putting together?
Testing. This is the Willow report. I have seen it. It's like a fun teaser, Oh, they dropped this, and oh, I've done more research and looked at this, and then who's this guy? Like, it's fun.
I think that this is a fantastic opportunity for Pokemon Go to start developing its own canon, its own place in the world, and also developing narrative. We've had very little narrative in the game up to this point, and only with the start of like the Mew special research, and then finally the Celebi and Jirachi, and you started to see stuff with the team leaders. Like, we're starting now to finally get some narrative, and this is exciting. Like, because this is going to influence decisions that we make, because they're giving personality to other characters now, so that could influence how we all play. So I'm really excited about this. But from a journalistic perspective, we've had updates every 2 days. The 22nd, the 24th, the 26th. On the 22nd, we heard about mysterious components. It looked like a little iPhone. You touch it, didn't do anything. The 24th, they announced the rocket radar prototype kind of thingy, that they're trying to put all these things together and they might be able to track down rocket stops. Then on the 26th, just yesterday, we got this report that Blanche actually encountered Cliff. Didn't have a battle with him, but had an encounter with him, and it didn't go too well. So there's definitely...
But I like that they bring in Blanche.
Well, yeah. Yeah,
It's
well,
like-
because again, playing off that personality, they're saying that she doesn't like it when things don't work out a certain way. Actually, they use they actually use the they pronoun, which is a whole nother really cool and interesting development in this. Like, are they saying that Blanche is non-binary? Like, they're really being very liberal here, which I totally dig. But chances are, if we're following up on this 2-day thing, we're going to get another one of these updates tomorrow, the 28th, which will be a day or two before this podcast comes out. So we'll probably have more information by the time you hear this, but I exceptionally enjoy narrative in my games. So I really like this. I think that special research is the way to go when it comes to delivering these narratives, and doing this stuff with little videos and blog posts and all this stuff. It's just painting a better picture of what this world is all about. But I do want to, Melissa's not here, so I do want to interject here from the internet's perspective and just be a little bit of a devil's advocate. So we have all this focus going into Team Go Rocket, right? The rocket stops, the grunts, the encounters, shadow Pokemon, all that shit. Now we have Rocket Radar, a tool that's going to allow us to track down Team Rocket stops, Team Go Rocket stops. Why not give us the ability to track Pokemon? Why not give us the ability to track raids? Why does it have to be about Go Rocket stops? You know what I mean? Can you imagine if they were to wrap this around like being able to track raids and actually have a raid map or a radar for raids? You know what I mean? Like, think about that. So it's, I try not to be that pain in the ass. I try not to be that devil's advocate. But when I heard the words Rocket Radar, I was like, fuck, why couldn't that have been Raid Radar, man? Like, I want to know where the raids are. Show me the raids. So very interesting.
Well, I think that it's probably because we have the little pop-ups for the eggs, or like the raids in like wherever you're driving around.
Yeah, but that's still you're
walking wherever you're walking around.
But you think the Rocket Radar is only going to be that local to where it's only going to show you stuff on your map anyway? Like within your eye? Then what's the point? I don't know. Because if it's just showing you what's on your map, why would you need the radar? Because you could already see it on your map. Sometimes you'll have a Pokemon spawn and, you click the map for it to bring up the Pokestop, and the stop is like a freaking forever away. Maybe if it shows us that far, it's one thing. But if I'm going to travel somewhere, I'm going to do it to get Giovanni. I don't know if this is going to be something that I'm going to do consistently after I beat Giovanni. Whereas if this tool...
Giovanni must be hard then, and you get one chance, and that's it.
But if this tool was wrapped around raids, and I could do something to power the ability for me to find raids, I could just see myself using that tool for a much longer and consistent amount of time. It's interesting.
Well, hey, we never know. Once we defeat and get that medal for Giovanni, maybe this...
Hey, here's raidmap.com, and you can actually see the whole fucking thing, like the Ingress map. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, maybe that would happen. Or instead of like the Rocket Radar, it fixes itself once you beat Giovanni. Or he gives you like the cure for the thing. And then it becomes a raid radar. So you can use it, so it gives you incentive to finish that quest.
All right, well, Adam, I'm going to go with that because I just want the raid radar.
So, I don't know.
I'll go with that. All right, we are in fact.
I have a really big tinfoil hat on.
That's fine. I like that.
It's like weighing me down.
Yeah. All right. We are in fact going to skip our Reggie raid guide and battle party. Whoop whoop. Sorry about that, guys. But we do have a couple bits of miscellaneous news here. I do want to talk about on the 25th. Niantic accidentally launched Wayfarer in parts of the US and a couple other countries. Yeah, it went live. And like people were flipping out and able to get into the tool and start using the tool. Actually listing Pokestops, reviewing Pokestops or way spots. And people were like, how is this possible? I remember someone in our Discord were like, no, I'm in Georgia and I'm in. Here's a screenshot. And I was like, how is this possible? And they were able to use it. And then I think sometime in the early afternoon or something like that, Niantic support put up a tweet saying like, "My bad, guys. This was an error. We didn't mean to turn this on. We did it accidentally. We've turned it off. Permissions have been reverted. Any activity that was done in Wayfarer while it was live will actually remain. So if you put in a way spot or reviewed something, that still counts. But they killed everyone's access." So definitely interesting. I put a funny tweet up together. I was like, because we've seen this happen to Niantic multiple times where things are launched early. I mean, think about GoFest with the release of the Shiny Abra and Clefairy. You know what I mean? It's like things that happen, or the bonuses for Shiny Mewtwo, or special Shinies coming out too early. Like, we're seeing things happen ahead of time. And I put up a funny tweet. I was like, yo, someone please do make sure that no one gives Niantic the launch codes, like the nuclear launch codes, because they're going to like accidentally like start World War III by like firing off fucking nukes, when they were supposed to fire next week. They're going to fire them off a week early. But Wayfarer did start, and it's got pulled back. So hopefully we'll actually see that roll out sooner than later. At least we know the infrastructure is there that they can do it. Let's take a moment to check in with Go Ranger.
What's up, everybody? It is Go Ranger Matt, and this is the Go Ranger Check-In.
Okay, coming up Friday, November 1st, we have the Halloween event wrapping up. Adam, any shinies to report on for the Halloween event?
I have so far caught a shiny Shuppet, which I didn't share because I was like, this is terrible. I already have 3 of them. So it was kind of like upsetting for like that was the one I got. But
that's how it usually happens.
Fast forward a couple days, I randomly hit a Mankey. I think I could have hit a Yamask right next to it, but I hit the Mankey, and the Mankey was green and shiny.
Wow,
and I was
that's
like,
full
whoa,
odds.
I don't have that one.
That's crazy. That's pretty awesome. That's really cool. I got a shiny Duskull. That's the only thing I've caught during the event. First,
and I did go out the other night in the rain, and I got myself a shiny Ghastly. Finally, because I wasn't able to get one at GoFest.
Nice. All right, very good. Well, the Halloween event does wrap up on November 1st, so
I've done 3 Bulbasaur costume raids. I haven't seen Squirtle or Charmander.
Wow, I still need the Squirtle. I have the Charmander and the Bulbasaur, but I need the Squirtle still. So still looking for that. Couple more days till Friday, November 1st. The Reggies will be coming back also Friday, November 1st for the weekend. Colossal Discovery event is that Saturday, November 2nd. So again, even if you can't play the event, you have to log in during the 11 to 7 local time window to activate the ticket. So even if you can't play, make sure you at least log in so you can activate it, earn the badge, earn the medal, and get everything going so you can complete it at your own pace. All right, something a little different here. I want to just take a quick moment. Something I want to start doing every week is just give a quick community spotlight to an up-and-coming creator or a new podcast, new show, new content creator in any way. And I came across a really cool podcast that I thought was really neat, and I do want to plug them. This is the Augmented Naturally podcast, and they wrote in, and this is what they said about their show, and I thought it was very cool. It says, the Augmented Naturally podcast mission is to be a hub augmenting your daily life naturally. They do Pokemon Go theory crafting, gamification, fitness tips, games, and caffeine hacks. One of their one-liners is good luck, good balls. So I really like that. But what they do is they talk about
pokes my balls.
They talk about using augmented reality games to kind of help with daily balance with your life. So it's actually a really cool approach. Actually fits in with the mindfulness of the Trainer Club. And kind of some of the topics he was talking about. So definitely check out the Augmented Naturally podcast. I'll put a link in the description to their Twitter so you can check them out and everything that they have going on. But Adam, that's it, man. That's a show. We did it.
That is a show. And because the Reggie Ice and Reggie Rock and Reggie Steel are going to be in raids this weekend, by the time you're hearing this, we won't have time to get that information to you, so we'll do little either posts of our parties that we post up for each of us, or we'll do some sort of post live stream or something.
Yeah, we'll do something
to get that
to talk about
information
it
to you guys.
Yep. Yeah, we'll figure out a way to get some of this info out there. But Adam, if you don't have anything else, man, I'm just going to run through the plugs, man. I think that's it. I think we did it.
Plug away.
All right, guys, our Secret League pin is available at the Secret League store. Link will be in the description. Please check out the Trainer Club. Make sure you connect with him. He's doing great stuff over at his channel, and very intriguing and interesting approach to content creation and life. I like it. I dig it. You can email us, info@luredup.com. Leave us a voicemail, send us a picture, send us a text, 732-835-8639. Check out luredup.com for everything we're doing, PokemonProfessor.com for everything on the channel. Adam, anything else at all?
Nope.
All right, guys, keep training, trainers. We'll
Just
see you guys
spooky.
next.
Stay spooky.
Oh, stay spooky. Yeah, we're coming. Halloween is this week. We won't talk to you since Halloween, so get out there and get some good candies. All right, bye, everybody.